What's going on YouTube? This your man Black Reality TV back again with another one, man. Before I start this video, man, make sure y'all power punch that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn your bell notification on every time I do a video, man. So let's get into this, man. Some good boxing last night, man. Checked out the boy from Philly, man, the rising star, one of the future young stars, I think, in boxing. Jaron Ennis, man, taking on Sergey Lipinets' first step up fight, man. To me, he passed with flying colors, man. Jaron Ennis is a very, very talented fighter, man. Explosive, man. Beautiful hand speed. Good punching power. Excellent punching power. Punch with both hands. Can switch to orthodox and southpaw. Excellent footwork, man. Taking on Sergey Lipinets, a very sturdy fighter, man. Only lost one fight against Mikey Garcia. Put Lamar Peterson in retirement, former world champion at 140. And Jaron Ennis did everything that I thought he was going to do in that fight. Now, I thought he was maybe stop him a little later, maybe 7 or 8, got him out of there in 6, man. He landed some good shots on Ennis. I think Ennis had a couple moments where he had little lapses defensively. Maybe he wanted to get his offense off and was baiting Lipinets to come in and so he can try to shoot and get counter shots. But I liked what I see from Jaron Ennis, man. He was breaking him down to the body. He's not a headhunter, which I like, man. He really mixes it up, like I said, great punch variation. He can fight all 3 levels, in the pocket, mid-range, from the outside. Man, it's really nothing that Boots can't do, man. Boots is a he's one of the fighters, one of the best young fighters I've seen in a minute. You know, sky's the limit for him. Big welterweight, like 5'10", 5'11", long, rangy, long reach. You know, Sergey Lipinets was getting frustrated, you know what I'm saying? In the 5th round, he hit him with the low blow, and that was a veteran move to buy himself some time because he knew that the writing was on the wall that Boots was going to get him up out of there. Dropped him in the 4th round. Like I said, he just did whatever he wanted to do. He fought his fight, you know what I'm saying, fighting in the pocket in the phone booth. And then that 6th round, hit him with a 2-piece, vicious, nasty right hook with like a hybrid hook / uppercut left hand. And it was a wrap. It was done, man. Kid moved to 27-0, 25 knockouts. This boy is a problem. And in my opinion, I think Jaron Ennis to me, he's a top 5 welterweight right now. And he will give any welterweight a run for their money. That includes Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. To me, I think he will beat the dog shit out of Danny Garcia. I think he'll beat Keith Thurman. I think it'll be a tough fight. It'll be a tough fight due to Keith Thurman's experience. You know what I'm saying? Him being in there with a lot of good quality guys, former world champions. But due to Keith Thurman's lack of activity over the last couple of years. I mean, he hasn't fought since he lost to Pacquiao. Been very inactive over the last 4 or 5 years of his career and really squandered his prime. An interesting fight will be him and Sean Porter. But Sean Porter already said, man, he ain't fighting this kid unless he gotta fight him, unless he put himself in a position to where he the mandatory, he the champion. He gotta fight Jaron Ennis, then he'll get up in the ring with him. But other than that, he don't want them problems. He saw what happened last night. He's like, I'm not fighting Jaron, and I'm definitely not fighting him. And that gets me to the whole bullshit that goes on in boxing, man, about these guys are not ready and all this shit, man. It's a bunch of bullshit, man. Bunch of bullshit. Boxing is at a place, man, we are starving for fights. I mean, we can't get none of the fights that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? And then now you got certain fans and fan bases of certain fighters want to try to bury these young fighters. Don't let them get opportunities at title shot and let these guys that's quote unquote at the top of the division, nickel and dime the fans, don't want to get the fans what they want to see, and then we're gonna have these guys just sitting on the shelves, just fighting C plus B plus competition. That's not how you grow as a fighter. By you growing as a fighter, you got to take progressions and steps. I mean, shit, if he can't get none of those guys in there, which I don't see, get me shit. I should have put him in there with a Jamal James, Josito Lopez, somebody like that. See if they can get him in a fight where he got to go late in the rounds, and let's see how his stamina is in the back nine of a championship level fight. I mean, this kid, he hasn't even passed the 6th round yet. So by me saying that, I think he's ready for the top guys. I wouldn't mind him having maybe one more fight, because due to politics, he's not gonna get a world title shot. I know he said he wanted the winner of Errol Spence Jr. versus Jordan guys, but I don't see that fight happening next. Like I said, due to the whole politics shit, and due to, you know what I'm saying, the fan base of certain fighters, you know what I'm saying, don't want these young guys to shine. But it's gonna happen. It's a lot of young up and coming talent in welterweight and in boxing in general. We gotta see these fights. We gotta see these fights shake and pop. It's time. And then the same ones that sit and say he not ready to fight him and he need to fight this guy, that guy. And then when he beats that guy that y'all put him in there with, then it's going to be another hurdle and another hurdle. Man, I ain't got time for this shit, man. And I can't be around a space of people. If you talking that shit, talking about these fights got to marinate. Like, why can't Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz fight? Oh, we got to let that fight build. Man, fuck. We gotta let that marinate. That can be a super fight in the future. Let me tell y'all, none are going to try to set up a fight in the future and thinking that you're going to generate the type of money that you think you're going to generate. First of all, you have to prove yourself and take the steps and progressions of putting yourself as a position of being a household name. And by you not fighting the certain opposition that you need to fight to put yourself in a position, how do we know that you are going to be a pay-per-view star? You're going to be a guy that people want to ish out money to go see. You got guys talking about, I'll F this guy up and F that guy up, but don't want to get in the ring though. Do everything but put them hands up. And actually do the shit. And this me getting to Errol Spence because I'm not talking about the Errol Spence record. I'm talking about the because I remember this shit. And I'm gonna bring this shit up. I'm gonna wrap this up by saying it. Y'all sitting there saying people not the fight ain't even over with 24 hours, and you got people diminishing Bruce Ennis' performance last night. A lot of these people, the same ones that was pushing Errol Spence when Errol Spence was on that come up. And by the way, Errol Spence at that time, he didn't even have a step up fight. He didn't even have a major step up at the time. He was like 14, 15-0, 16-0, whatever. At the time, back in like, 2015, 2016? Yeah, it was 2015. And this was the time when Floyd Mayweather was getting up out the game. And all the belts was pretty much going to be scattered over, right? Keith Thurman was on that come up, he was on Floyd Mayweather's neck. He was pushing for the fight. He was beating his drum. And long and behold, you hear reports about Errol Spence doing this and doing that and sparring against Floyd and this and that. And all of a sudden, you got these man fans out here, certain fighters. And so at that time it was Earl, took out their Vaseline and couldn't wait to release. I mean, it was ridiculous. They were saying that he needed to fight Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman was at a point where he was making the progression of coming a prospect into a contender and now knocking on a door of a world title fight. But y'all wanted him to fight a guy, Errol Spence, at that time that didn't even have no step up fight, didn't do really much of anything of beating the guys that he should have beat. Didn't really see him take that step up fight to see whether or not he's ready for the big time fights. Jaron Boots Ennis beat a former world champion. Right? Former world champion. Now I know in boxing, you know what I'm saying, that can be misleading, do all the belts and all and do the multiple sanctioned bodies, but whatever. Facts remain that he beat a former world champion. And a guy who never been stopped, only lost one fight, was against Mikey, fought Lamont Peterson. He fought some good quality guys. So he's no pushover. And he did whatever he wanted to do in the ring with him. And he's in position now that he can be close enough to push for a mandatory fight in the IBF for that belt. Because he just beat Sergey Lipinets, was in the top 3 at that ranking, in that sanctioning body. So when Boots Ennis gets himself in that position, right, where he's the mandatory, y'all better be pushing for that. Y'all better be pushing. Because y'all saying once, just a couple years ago, y'all was saying that he got to fight his mandatory Ocampos, which, you know what I'm saying, nobody really gave a fuck about that fight. And like I say, well, what did Ocampo do to get an Errol Spence fight? See what I mean? What did he really do to get an Earl fight? Nothing. Really? What did he do? What is the difference? What is really the difference of Jaron Boots Ennis beating Sergey Lipinets than when Errol Spence at the time, when he was a prospect back in 2015-16, when he got a step up fight against Leonard Bundu, he stopped him and he became on to get a world title shot his next fight against Kell Brook. So why that can't happen in that situation? Y'all should be pushing for that fight. Y'all was sitting there saying that Errol Spence should fight Keith Thurman. And he didn't have a step up fight, but Jaron had a step up fight, which was last night. And is close to getting a world title shot. We got a saying that he not ready. It just lets you know in boxing, man, it's so much bias and double standards and shit like that in boxing. But a lot of people have selective memory and want to pick and choose what they want to remember. But I remember that. In 2015. A lot of y'all some of y'all probably wasn't watching boxing or wasn't paying attention to what was going on at that time. But I remember that at that time. Because it was a lot of welterweights at the time that was on the come up. Just like some of these guys are facing right now, and Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman and Sean Porter. These guys been in the, especially Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. Them guys been at this weight class for years. And we as fight fans, we get tired. I'm tired personally of seeing recycle fights over and over again. I want to see some new shit. When I go in the refrigerator, I don't want to go in there and look at the same shit every day and eat the same shit. I want to mix my variety of foods up. Just like when I sit down and when I watch boxing, I want to see something new. I want to see new matchups. Make that shit fresh, because the welterweight division is real stale right now with a lot of potential, and I don't want to see it squandered due to people want to circle around and maneuver. And by the way, before I wrap this shit up, you can't use that excuse that Boots Ennis is on the other side of the street. I know the same ones that be saying that the reason why the fight don't happen between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford do because he's on the other side of the street. Well, Boots Ennis is on the same side of the street as Errol Spence. Let's see that. Let's see that fight. I want to see it. I think it's an intriguing fight. I think it's a real good fight, and I think it's a dangerous fight. Dangerous. And not just Earl, Terrence. I love to see Terrence Crawford fight. I love to see him fight any of them guys that still want to hang on and don't want to let it go. I want to see that. Even this prospect versus prospect, I want to see that. I want to see the Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Boots in this fight. I mean, it's getting to the point now to where if you display your talent, like what Jaron Ennis does last night, you get punished and get put on the back burner by fans. Instead of saying, man, let's push for this fight. Let's see him try to test himself. We just sitting there saying, hey, he not ready. But yet, when y'all saying he not ready, then when he fight a subpar guy in y'all standards, then y'all saying he not fighting nobody. Y'all just all over the motherfucking place, man. But let me know what y'all guys think, man. Shout out to the LDBC, man. This your man, Black Reality TV. I'm signing off. Deuces.